Well, I want to relate this one story about the lizard people that possibly live underground under Los Angeles, California. Basically, this is a story just as much for cats as it is for humans, right, Putin? You want to hear about the lizard people? Yeah, sure. Anyway, anyway, it's a story from, I'm going to point to the link. You can read the whole story from the exact article that was republished. And I picked this up off a blog, and I was like, I don't know how the hell I found it, because I wasn't even researching lizard people. And I said, what the hell is this? It's from January 29th, 1934. And basically, and you'll be paying attention. You'll probably be hiding under the desk or something, because it's going to be a scary story about lizard people. And, just to mention, I know David Icke talks about lizard people, but this guy, I don't know. I think I put something out a while ago about David Icke. He thought about his ex-wife was turning into a shape-shifting lizard person. His ex-wife. So he got divorced. That's David Icke. Anyway. This is a story for cats just as much as humans. And I'm telling you, this is legit. I mean, I don't know if it's legit about the lizard people, but, I do have to say one thing about some of this stuff about, other peoples living on the earth or at one point in time, maybe in the past. If you look really, really, before I get into this story, if you look really, really, really objectively, some of the structures that exist today, I'm not just talking about legends. I mean, stuff you could see there, measure, and they can measure with laser devices to see how accurate they are. There's some things inside these tombs, they're not even tombs, I don't know what the hell they are, in Egypt, that are, the surface is so flat that it's within a 10,000th of an inch. And there's things in there that are inscribed, that look like they're inscribed with lasers. I don't know, man. It's like, if people were that smart, then what happened to all the written knowledge, and why did all the smart people die off and the dumb people survive? So maybe there could be something to this crap. I don't know. But they call it the lizard people. Anyway, it says that, and I'll point to the link on this article basically. And it's a republication of an article from January 29th, 1934. It goes along busy Los Angeles. Although few realize it, in a modern existence, there's an incalculable amount of treasure and imperishable records of a race of humans further advanced intellectually and scientifically than even the humans of today, which was 1934 at the time. And it was Warren Shufelt, geophysical engineer, is now engaged in an attempt, this is back in 1934, to wrest from the lost city deep in the earth below Fort Moore Hill the secrets of the lizard people of legendary fame in the medicine lodges of the American Indian. The American Indian talked about this in Legends. Now, you got to remember, sometimes these legends also have a lot of truth. It's not like it's total BS, Maybe some of these things, sometimes these fables and these legends and stuff like that are handed down from, times past. I'm not somebody that dwells into this too much, but, there could be some kind of truth to this stuff, too. Just looking at some of the ancient structures that will exist on this earth, there's something fishy going on there that, all the smart people, like we can't even build some of these things today with the great accuracy that they built them with. And, there's no record of even how they were built, so I don't know what the hell's going on. But it says, in the area overextending the public library at West 5th Street of the Southwest Museum on Museum Drive at the foot of Mount Washington, learned of the legend of the lizard people, and he used this radio X-ray device to try to detect underground tunnels. And he says, according to legend from the American Indians that Shufelt got, right, he got information. He tried to confirm this sort of radio X-ray, and he revealed he found out the location of one of the 3 lost cities on the Pacific coast. And the legend is that there was a great catastrophe which occurred about 5,000 years ago that burned up everything or something like that. And he says there's large rooms in the domes of the hills above the city of labyrinths housing thousands of families in a manner of tall buildings, all underground, and imperishable food supplies of herb variety. I don't know, maybe it was weed or herb and marijuana, booze, and hookers underground. I don't know. And the food supplies of an herb variety were stored in the catacombs to provide sustenance for the lizard folk, lizard folk of Los Angeles for great lengths of time, in case there was another next fire swept over the earth. There was some kind of, well, let me put it this way. There's another theory out there that the pyramids were more like you have all that, they had this encapsulation on the pyramids. It was some type of white stone. They said it was used to build Cairo, that was actually mined from the pyramids basically by people. There's some other theorists out there, and they said that they think they're 100% right, that there was some kind of catastrophe that actually blew the stones off the face of the pyramid. And the pyramids were not built for tombs or anything like that. They were built as something to generate electricity naturally. I don't know, maybe that has something to do with Tesla's theory, because I think the ionosphere is negatively charged and the Earth is positively charged. That's why we have lightning and weather movement, and there's probably a way to tap that naturally. He says the whole thing was actually, the way the stones were, it was actually like a capacitor, a naturally occurring capacitor, and they had ways to send electricity wirelessly through the whole area in Egypt up until this catastrophe happened. I don't know, man. Maybe this was related to this crap that goes on here in the United States, because they also said that in this lizard people thing, I don't know if they look like lizards or whatever the hell it is. I mean, there's no pictures of them, man, but it's one of them David Icke theories. Now, I'm not going along with the theory that his ex-wife started turning into a shape-shifting lizard, according to him. That was ridiculous. But who the hell knows? The lizard people, as legend regarded the lizard as the symbol of long life. Now, my cat Putin would disagree, because every time he sees a lizard, he chases that thing and he chomps it. Anyway, their city is laid out like a lizard, according to the legend. Its tail in the southwest, far below 5th and Hope Streets. Okay, the head of the lizard is in the northeast at Lookout and Marda Streets. That's in L.A., man. How's that? The legendary, this is an article. This is a real article from 1934. I'm going to point to the link. The guy republished it and stuff. I was like, man, this is pretty wild stuff, man. So anyway, for people that believe in the lizard people, anyway, now actually I'm going to point to something else. I did a video a while back on Phil Schneider. That's one guy that talked about underground aliens that, I can't say he's 100% guaranteed proof that it's credible. I mean, he could have lost, some of his stories. I don't know, man. It's something, it's too crazy to believe, but I don't know, maybe something to it. But anyway, I'm going to point to a link on something I did on that a while ago. I think it was almost a couple years ago. But on these tablets of gold underneath the city, underground, having been the symbol of life to the legendary lizard people. That's important. So, like, maybe the central bank lizard people have gold as symbol of life. I don't know. Just kidding, all right? Well, will be found and recorded on these tablets of gold. This is recorded in this story, 1934. Will be found at the recorded history of the Mayan Indians, the Mayans, on one of the particular tablets. The southwest corner of one of these particular tablets was missing, but it was still a record of the origin of the human race. I don't know, man. I don't know. Actually, if you look at some of these other things, there's underground tunnels, unrelated stories that supposedly go from all the way from Nevada, where the Indians were, the Hopi Indians, all the way down to where the Mayan Indians were, underground tunnels, supposedly. And, I saw where there's people in Central America, they're going into these tunnels and all this stuff about the Indians. And they said those tunnels go all the way, there's a link from there all the way up to the Hopi Indians. I haven't seen anything where some brand new scientist from the modern age has proved that, but I don't know. Who the hell knows, man? seems like there's been lost knowledge out there, because actually if you look at some of the stuff that went on with the Mayan Indians, they said they had these tunnels, and some people said that these tunnels were for irrigation and water and their aquifers. And a lot of people pointed out real common sense things, and I go by a lot of common sense things. They were coated with mica, and mica is something that cannot hold up against water. But if you want to conduct electricity through these tunnels, mica is like perfect. You know what I mean? So I got to go along with some of the common sense things, even though they might seem a little outlandish. But this is a story about below L.A., and there's a catacombs, and it's all according to American Indian tradition, legend and stuff, that they had these advanced lizard people living underground under Los Angeles. So the guy that was looking into this back in 1934, this is an article from January 1934, Shufelt, and he was like I said, he was very, he was a geophysical engineer and stuff. He had all the degrees and stuff. I guess he wasn't some idiot. But Shufelt stated that he'd taken X-ray pictures of 37 of these tablets, 3 of which had their southwest corners cut off. And I guess that was from the catastrophic fire, And so the thing is, there's this network of tunnels underneath the Los Angeles. It looked like a lizard, and the Indians called it the Lost Lizard City, according to Shufelt and the legend. So anybody out there in Los Angeles want to go, check it out? It's a good 250 feet down or so, or something like that. I think it's way the hell down there, because they say when you get way down there, and I don't think this guy went down there all the way. He was talking about he did this with X-rays. But you know what it gets me? If this guy is correct, he's not BSing around about this, and this is back in 1934. I'm sure our American government knows about it, man, big time. If it's true, because actually I could tell you, like, from people I know from that know a little bit about this geometallurgical type stuff that's in the earth. They say they know exactly where pretty much all the mineral deposits are on Earth from special satellites or something. The way they can look at stuff, they actually know where things are. They know where all the diamonds are. They know where they could actually look deep into the earth. In other words, that's why they find oil now real easily. They know where the hell it is. It's not easy to get out of the ground. But I guess if there's these catacombs below Los Angeles, say it really is something correct. And these Indian legends aren't all total BS. A lot of times there's the legends and things like mythology is based upon some type of fact. And the only thing I can kind of say that's a fact with this, where you could say that there's something physical evidence that, maybe some advanced civilizations lived before us many, many thousands of years ago, is like a lot of these pyramid structures, these ancient temples, these underground tunnels, and etchings in stone that look like they were done with lasers and stuff, and the accuracy of all these structures. Sometimes they're flat with some of these tombs or whatever the hell they are, that have a flat surface that is like mirror polished to a 10,000th of an inch. So, there's no idiots put that thing together. So I don't know, maybe something's to this, but I found it to be very interesting. So, if it's true, well, it's a big IF. If it's true, and this guy's not trying to mix. He put considerable effort into this way back when. So 1934. I would assume that, if he was using instruments back from 1934, X-ray instruments, to determine if there's underground tunnels and catacombs below Los Angeles, I'm sure that it's known about in certain circles in the United States government or Defense Department or something today. But it's all conjecture. But, I could state, though, some of the weird things going on. I mean, that maybe some people have said from ancient times. And, we have pyramids actually in the United States, but they're like earthen pyramids and stuff. They're not stone. But like in Illinois, like one example. But it looks like, some things have been said that there's underground caverns or tunnels or whatever it is that actually go from like where the Mayan civilization was all the way up to the Hopi Indian civilization in the United States. And considering their similarities, who the hell knows, right? Who the hell knows? So maybe there's something to this, but if you're a cat, you might be very interested in this story because it's about lizard people. Now, if your ex-wife is turning into a shape-shifting lizard like David Icke's ex-wife, I don't know if that's grounds for divorce. I'm not sure about that guy. You know what I mean? I think he really gets out there and he's just a major profiteer on this stuff. But I don't know. There could be something to it. And I did put something out a while back about Phil Schneider. And I'm not somebody who really gets into this stuff a lot, but some of it is a little bit too coincidental. Here you got, these facts that just don't jive right, where you think, maybe there's something to this type of stuff, right? But then again, I never seen a lizard person. And, the story is with Phil Schneider, when he got lowered into the bucket and he saw a lizard person, he pulled out his pistol and he shot one of them. He goes, they do die. And they shot him back. And maybe they probably wouldn't have shot him back if he just said, hey, how you doing? I don't know. Maybe they're friendly. Who the hell knows, man? So anyway, in Los Angeles, if you wonder why shit's got some weird vibes in that city sometimes, man, this could be the reason. The lost lizard civilization that's underground catacombs below the city, it may be putting out some weird vibes. It's giving you some kind of thing. So you've got to keep that in mind, man.